Hello everyone. Welcome to this live webinar. It's a beautiful Friday morning here, a Friday afternoon, sunshine streaming, and I hope everyone is well. Guys, I'm going to get right into it. We're recording this as we go out live at 12:30 on Friday. If you're watching on the replays, then please follow up with any questions you have. I don't want to waste anyone's time. I want to get right in here, guys, with today's training. And we're talking about how to select a short-term rental managing agent. I'm going to talk about the questions to ask, what to avoid, the pitfalls and red flags, and selecting the right business partner for you. Also, let me tell you a little bit about our management company as well. And for those of you brave enough to stay to the very, very end, we'll be about 45 minutes here, opening it up for live Q&A. So half an hour of content, pure training for you guys. We'll open it up for 15 minutes of Q&A, answering all your questions as they come in. If you're watching live, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the places that the amazing team behind the scenes set us up on. And then, guys, nice and simple, just pop your questions wherever you are watching and the team will filter them in. We can bring those up on screen, nice and simple. So if you want to pop your question in, please do so. I will click the button if I see it and pop it in on the screen and I'll answer it live for you. Welcome everyone. So I've got Holden in the background and fielding your messages from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all these different places. If you've registered for the webinar, you should have let me know your questions and Holden is putting them in. I want to jump right in with the content, guys. Let's get started on the actual topic of what we're talking about today. So we say a host webinar, what do we mean? Well, guys, I want to cover as much as I can in half an hour, 30 minutes of content, and we can answer questions for as long as you guys want. So a little bit of an introduction. The thing I want to talk to you about, first of all, guys, is do you even need a managing agent? I'm not here to sell you our services. Again, we're a nice large company across the UK. We're here to just inform people. And if after that process you would like to do business with Pillow at some point in the future, that's fine. But actually, a lot of agents don't need managing agents. It's not going to be a good fit for them. So we want to, you should only be working with an agent if it's a good fit for you. Questions you need to ask potential agents. I've been a managing agent for more than 20 years, had this business now that we've had my own managing agency for 19 years. It racks up nearly 2 decades. So I can tell you a thing or two about agents, picking agents, the questions to ask, the good points, the bad points. We won't necessarily be a fit for everyone. So we're here to educate you, to pick the right agent for you, but you need to ask the right questions. The best part for me, guys, is the live Q&A. Presenting, talking to cameras, pretty boring for me. I love giving info, but the interaction. So please say hello in the chat. Tell me where you are. Answer any questions, any comments, even anything you don't agree with. Just let me know. We'll have a discussion. Some free stuff at the end, guys, after the live Q&A. Just for attending. I want to say thank you and some additional special bonuses there. So we've got some of the team as well. And one thing I didn't mention, hopefully some of my regional property managers from across the UK, we've got lots. Our target is to have one in each area. If you see this little beautiful branded thing behind me, represents a property manager everywhere in the UK, no more than half an hour away from any properties. So, and there is Emma saying hello, one of our property managers. Anybody involved in Pillow will know Emma, property manager, CEO, trainer, mentor to all of our team. So there's someone from Cambridgeshire. Thank you, Andrew. So that's how it works. Put a little comment in somewhere and I can pop it up on the screen and it lets the audience see your question. So my team from across the UK, listen, I just happen to be the handsome, charismatic founder of Pillow. I'm not the smartest one. The team are much smarter than me. They're across the UK and they can answer your questions about specific areas. So I can answer questions about property management, business and these types of things, and certainly serviced accommodation, holiday homes, Airbnb. But my team really know their stuff regionally. So when Andy's from Cambridge, we can bring the local property managers in here and answer your specific questions about your regions. If any of the team are on, just say hi and I'll bring it up. Cool. Let's get back to the content, guys, and we'll cover the Q&A shortly. Now for Pillow, I've always done lots of pitches over the years, and people say, what is Pillow? What is Pillow Partners? It's a weird name. Are you an escort agency? No. We're the UK's leading social impact short-term rental management company. Nice and simple, one sentence to sum up what we do. We manage short-term rental properties on behalf of individuals. We have our own charity, we deliver social impact, and we are the market leading in what we do. I'm going to bring Barry in, a little weightlifting Barry Graham. I'm sure he's got some questions about tax that I said I would answer for him. So look forward to your questions, Barry. So enough about us. We're not here to talk about us. I want to give you a background of why I'm qualified to speak to you about this topic. Started back in 2006, nearly 20 years. I've been in the industry well over 20 years working for other agents. We've got lots of superstars across the UK. I like to say we're not a team of overseas VAs. My team will be answering your calls. Your property manager will have met you. They'll be at your property. They will be close to your property. They will be answering your guest calls a lot of the time. You'll get their email address and direct phone number. You're not dealing with call centres. We're not cutting costs at Pillow. You can hopefully see the little, let me put that up, get rid of my face. Hopefully you can see the branding over the years. It's changed. We were orange, we were called Homeshore, then with different branding, we got it a bit classier. Then we called it Pillow, and then we changed it to the logo on the top right, guys, Pillow Partners. So you'll have seen this brand evolve. It's just because we've been in the industry for so long. Yes, there we go. So what do we do at Pillow Partners? Well, we do full management. I like to say, keep it nice and simple. What does that involve? Well, you give the team the keys, and they will do absolutely everything for you guys. Give our team the keys, and you can retire, you can travel the world. It doesn't matter. They will just do everything for your business, create your hands-off residual income machine that churns out hopefully profit at the end every single month for you. They pay you, you can check the money's in your bank account. It's all done. Give that to your accountant. Sorted. So that's the main service we do. It takes up about 80% of our clients. And next thing here, we call it the partnership service. And that's where we work in conjunction with landlords. It's not fully hands-off because landlords want to be involved. And if I take someone that has a property in their garden, they're near it, they're used to doing personal check-ins, they clean it themselves, that's a pride and joy as a business, but they need some help. They're doing the on-site stuff. We do the marketing, the finances, the guests, all the technology, all the money and credit cards and integrations and direct booking websites and linking to Airbnb. And we do what we do well, and we work in strong business partnership with hosts who are on site to make those properties amazing, deliver the tail end of that fantastic customer service, and we build that journey together. So we love the partnership services, and we love working with hosts who like to just give it that super personal touch. It works fantastically well, guys. We also help people set up properties. We can take empty boxes. Some of the team will help you find a property and tell you what to buy. We can take that big empty box and make it into a stunning holiday home or service apartment for you. And the team across the UK, we're always doing finance feasibility studies, financial projections. You can take those guys to the bank, the nice high-level stuff. Before you invest in property or switch your buy-to-let over to a serviced accommodation unit, you really want to dig down, do your due diligence. Will that work? What money historically has a property like that earned in that area that you're interested in? What's the future going to be like? And again, you might need to get specialist lending. So we can do reports for your bank, anything you need regards market statistics. We pay a lot of money for this software, guys. So we help our potential hosts and hosts do that, and the local property managers will be doing that for you guys. The local property managers will know the areas. We can tell you about serviced accommodation at Pillow Partners HQ, but your local property managers are there to tell you the local stuff. So a nice thing I like to say is we just focus on property management. I'm pretty boring. People have all these fancy businesses, they have all these add-ons and additions and changing and getting into the new shiny thing. 20 years I've been doing property management. I will still be doing property management in 20 years. Boring, old, predictable property management. We don't do sourcing in the whole. We're not a sourcing company trying to sell you stuff. We don't have a cleaning company. We've not got associated things we do, like selling mentorships and courses and trying to lump things in. And we do not have our own units. It's very important for us that we don't, we're not here to build up our own units and be in competition with hosts. We're not here to sell you deals and then self-manage them, to brush stuff under the carpet or tack on businesses to make extra money with the cleaners. Many management companies have cleaning companies attached. For me, conflict of interest, massive red flag. We would select the best cleaner for you in your area. We wouldn't just pick us as a company to clean your property. So over the last 20 years, I've designed it so that we don't have any conflicts of interest, totally independent. We're picking the best tradespeople for you, and we don't have anything associated to us. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. Hello, there's Liz on. I'm going to give Liz a shout. Liz is here from Lancashire. She's doing amazing things in Morecambe. She just got a fantastic property on. I'm really impressed with that one this morning. So well done to Liz. Liz is a local property manager in Lancashire and Blackpool and Morecambe, that area. Emma is, let's say, Glasgow, much bigger than that. So thank you, team. Right, let's get this back on. One of the things we do, and again, property management, guys, is property management. It's a homogenized market. It's the same thing, but we have our own charity. We do lots of social impact, and that's what we're trying to build. That's our USP. That's our edge. That's our difference. Hopefully, take it for granted we do bloody good property management. I'm not going to talk about that, but I want to say about what we do for social impact. Our charity is called Safe Havens. I think Liz is in here. You'll see Liz there. Liz came up to do some fundraising. There's Liz and Peter, some fantastic people. For all the team coming over from all over the UK, we're raising money. We essentially think Airbnb, but every single stay does good for local communities. So guys, we get food for food banks. We do funded stays. We deliver social impact with every single stay. Not just here to take management fees. We're here to change communities, give money to all the small businesses in your area, help those in need. Anybody that's been round Pillow for any length of time will be able to see what we do. So there's Liz punting properties. That is a good property manager. That's what we do at Pillow. It's a good one. Everyone is welcome to stay. So my property managers hijacking my webinar to get their properties let, as well they should. And if Liz was your property manager, she'd be trying to get your properties let. Networking, visiting, physical networking, popping the links up in webinars and networking groups. That's just what the team do, so well done. Liz, that's Em and I over in Cape Verde. We were giving kids Cape Verde, if you know, is off the coast of Africa. We're doing bags. Thank you to everyone that donated for that campaign. We went back over at Christmas and sponsored, Emma can put me right, 30 children, gave them Christmas bags. The community, our hosts, our team, our supporters, our guests, all helped that happen. And in the UK, we do lots of things here as well. Community charities, big for child poverty, mental health, domestic violence, giving properties. If we've got empty properties, we would give them to women and families escaping domestic violence. Raffle the properties off for homeless charities. We give meals to homeless people, teenage suicide prevention, community cancer support, so many other things. I don't want you to depress you with all these bad negative things, but guys, we want every stay to do good. If you're working with us, we would love you to be part of that, not just selfishly getting profit out of your properties and maximising income. We love to work with great people, and it's who we do our best work with. There'll be Liz in there somewhere as well. We're coming up. There we are. We raised £3,500 by doing the kilt walk. So walking, I think we walked for 8-9 hours that day, Liz and Emma in there. So these are just some of the initiatives we do. We don't expect you to do charity walks with us. Okay, right. Right, this is a nice one, guys. I want to jump into some content now. No more about Pillow. That's us finished. The first thing I want to cover is, do you actually need a managing agent? Now, obviously, we've got Pillow. We are a managing agent, and I should be reaching out and saying, yes, you definitely need a managing agent. Of course you do. You'd be silly not to use a managing agent. In reality, guys, not every single host needs a managing agent. 99% of the times, a really quality, good managing agent, a business partner that you trust, will add more value. And if I think of what we do 3 principal things. We have 3 value propositions to deliver for our customers. 1, we maximize income. We make you more money than doing it yourself. Number 2, we free up your time. And you need to factor your time and your hourly rates into what you're involved with your property. And 3, we take away the stress. You don't need to worry about it. It's a hands-off business. So maximize income, reduce stress, and free up time. So most of the time, we should be able to deliver that. But if there are exceptions, we are honest. If somebody wanted a property managed miles away and you're next door and we couldn't deliver the same customer service as you, then we were pretty open about that. So let's go into some things. Do you even need a managing agent? And guys, please pop in your questions as we go through. The little banner at the bottom, just pop your questions in and I'll try and come to them at the end. I'll save most of them for the end, guys, after another 20 minutes. Right, so do you need a managing agent? Here's some questions to ask yourself. Do you enjoy what you do, guys? You might not need a managing agent, but you want a managing agent. They can take the stress and the hassle away. We're going to cover this later, guys, but this little book here, I talk about it. Team are sick of hearing me. Ikigai. It's your purpose, your reason for being. Do you enjoy it? Does it give you fulfillment? See if you hate it and you just don't want to pay an agent fees, well, that's detrimental to your health, your enjoyment, your family. So do you actually enjoy doing it? Because guys, I know hosts, and this is dead true, I know hosts that don't make as much money as they could make more money with us and not spend any time in their properties. They could make more money, have less stress, and have less time spent on their business, more free time. But I've advised them not to go with us, because they love it so much, and I'll be taking part of that away. I'll be taking the joy of delivering that customer experience away. So if you really, really love doing it, and that maybe they get customer service, delivering that amazingness, personal meet and greets, guys, if you really love doing that and don't feel in any way hard done by running out on Christmas Day and evenings and weekends and Valentine's night and jumping away for your dinners and your romantic date nights to go and service your guests. Some people do. If you love it, then guys, then that's fine. Absolutely fine. I wouldn't advise you to do an agent because you might make more money, you might have more free time, but it's taking your ikigai, it's taking your purpose, your reason for being away. Does that make sense? Barry's saying dropping in and out. I don't know if that's his Wi-Fi or mine, guys. Please tell me if it's mine. Nothing I can do to pray to the Wi-Fi gods. Maybe Barry is dropping in and out of consciousness. Am I boring him that much? Cool. The next thing I want to talk about is, do you have the time to do this? People always underestimate the time, guys, of how long does it take you to set properties up, manage properties, to deal with guests. And by the way, if you don't reply to your guests very quickly, the algorithms in Airbnb, for example, will punish you. So you need to be dealing with these rapids. You need to be on the ball. Do you have the time to be doing the changeovers and managing this yourself? So how much time is this taking up? If you've got a really great organization and you're systemized and it doesn't take time because you get cleaners and partners and people doing the work for you, then fine. You may not need a managing agent. The next thing, what could you do with the additional free time? And this is something we always need to ask hosts. Yes, you might be self-managing. Yes, you could self-manage, but Wi-Fi, right, Barry's Wi-Fi, hopefully not mine. Cool. So hopefully Barry's Wi-Fi and not mine, because it's all set up with the best Wi-Fi here. So I'd be disappointed if it wasn't good quality going out. What could you do with the free time? Could you earn more money in your principal job? Would you spend some time with your family? Could you learn a new skill? Emma's learning. Cool. Team is saying coming in fine. Perfect. Good. Emma's learning PO. I'm going to learn some Portuguese for some trips to Cape Verde. I'm doing stretching exercises every night. So there's things I would like to do. I've now got half an hour a day extra. Could you go and improve your golf game? Could you spend more time with the kids? Could you walk the dogs? Could you go to the gym? So what could you do with the free time? And would that override any fees to an agent? If you've got unlimited free time and it doesn't matter and you actually like that time used up because it gives you something to do and occupies your week and breaks up the monotony of life, then that's fine. That might not be a factor. That makes sense? How much more could you make working on your main thing? So people don't always want to use agents, guys, because I don't want to pay agents fees. I want to be frugal and earn more money. But if you're an accountant or a doctor, I'll put the sum here. Let's say you could earn £50 an hour, hourly rate, and you're not wanting to pay 300 quid to an agent, and you save it, but you're wasting 6 hours, 10 hours a month. So that's £500 you're wasting. It's false economy. Does that make sense? If you could go and earn money, and your principal job as a doctor or a solicitor, or shelf stacker or roofer or self-employed, whatever that is, whatever you do, is your hourly rate more that you could earn money for than what you would be charging? Because you need to charge yourself that money. It's false economy. If you're working 10 hours a month on your holiday home business, your Airbnb business, then guys, you need to factor that in. Hopefully that makes sense. Work out your hourly rate, what you're worth. And if your main thing is going and sourcing more properties, if your main thing is property, then why wouldn't you go and do that and make more money? You would make more money going and building your portfolio, building your assets, leaving the legacy, sorting out your affairs, working on your principal business. For me, I am the CEO of Pillow. It would make no sense for me to manage a property. I'm one of the best placed people to manage my own property because I've been doing it for so long. Bear in mind, guys, there was no Airbnb in 2001 when I first started managing properties, and then set up the business in 2006. There was no Airbnb. It wasn't a thing. So I could manage my own properties very, very effectively. And I challenge MD to manage my properties better than I could. It would be nuts for me to manage my own properties. I would not want to be involved, guys. Why? Because I'm building Pillow. And I'm getting all the team across the UK. It's 100 times more profitable for me to not manage my properties than doing it myself to save a few quid. That makes sense? So, is your main thing more profitable, and is it false economy to be saving those fees? Next. Could you make more money than the fees an agent would charge you? So, continues on from that. You might be saving a few hundred quid, but could you make more money elsewhere? Even if it's not your main thing, could you do something else? Could you build your portfolio? Next one, do you have all the necessary skills? Lots of people manage own properties. They love to find their way. We're doing lots of calls this week with people you may be watching, guys, and they want that to be part of their journey. They want to be involved watching Pillow and learning, and they want to learn the process. They don't want a hands-off business. They want that as part of their education to learn how to manage properties. So do you have the skills, and are you better skilled than Liz and Emma? Are you better skilled than people that have been in the industry for 10 years? Have you been sold a 2-day course and you're now a fucking property protege, and you've got a certificate because you've paid 10 grand for a course? Is that enough to be building your empire? No harm to anybody that's done that. It's not a criticism, but you need to, where is your skills? Look, I've watched fucking a doctor's thing, a box set. I've watched a box set about doctors, and now I'm going to go and operate heart surgery myself. And I know I'm exaggerating there because it's not the same. It's much more complicated to be a heart surgeon. But as a couple of days course or the odd webinar like this, enough for you to be managing your property. And you might be doing it to 70%, guys. But are there professionals out there that would absolutely make you so much more money than they would ever charge? That might not be the case. You might be more smarter than the letting agent you choose. You might be more experienced, but ask yourself, how do you compare to those professionals? Some honesty is refreshing. Funny, Mark, when you say that, because I was thinking about this, and I'm going to be very open about this, and this is about selecting agents. And if we look at our reviews, and Mark's part of the team in some customer service, he deals with all the bad stuff that gets to him. And Mark, do we get things right? Having done this for 19 years, guys, you'd think I would have a perfect business. We don't have a perfect business. We make mistakes. The team make mistakes. The system and Pillow makes mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. So when it comes to selecting an agent, don't expect them to be perfect. But Mark will tell you he's the customer experience manager, third in charge of the business, our superstar. Things go wrong. We make mistakes all the time. So when I'm saying all these things, it's not negative against anybody else. Self-managing hosts or other agents, we're a bigger company, so we would make more mistakes than anybody else, and we refine the process. So you'll hear some honest stuff as we go through here with some fun examples as well. So yes, we are being honest, Mark. The team will be cringing. Are you more skilled or experienced than an agent? Just done that. Do you have the best technology? Again, I'm going to bring Mark in for this one because Mark's seen us with 2 different PMS systems, and Mark is heading up that side, so deals with it. We upgraded to different property management systems. We couldn't afford that for many years. We hopefully have the best. They've just had £500 million worth of investment. So not all technology is perfect. There's different competitors and different things. But guys, as your property management system and channel manager, good enough. I'm not going to get into some details, guys, but if it's cheap and it's free and it's shit, it's not going to be the highest ranking integrations to Airbnb and Booking.com. They're not going to be super partners or whatever you call them, meaning it's not going to work right. It's not going to get the same algorithms as some of the high-end platforms that are solid partners. So guys, you need decent property management software. You need dynamic pricing software. As all your technology, even for your guests contacting you, the best. And the nice thing, if you see the back of the jumper, longer together, that's what we want to do. We're paying for all this technology, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds a year. Individual hosts will not be able to afford this because it becomes very cost prohibitive and expensive to get the same, I'll say tech stack, sound a bit wanky, same tech stack as Pillow. So we pay for all that because we've got lots and lots of hosts, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and that means that we can afford the best technology. Best technology saves you time and effort, and it gives your guests a better experiences in a lot of instances as well. So technology plays a big part of this. And guys, if you don't think you need technology, you think I'm okay because I've got my iCal link and I've got a spreadsheet, that's not going to cut it because AI and everything is absolutely eclipsing it. It's going to leave people in the dust. So technology is going to be playing a bigger and bigger part. And it took me a long time to say that because I was old school. I wasn't wanting dynamic pricing software and electronic locks and all this. I was old fashioned. As I say, I'm very boring and consistent. I've been in this industry over 20 years and I've seen it from before there was when internet was just starting. When I bought my first property in 1997, there was no mobile phones. There was no internet. We had to go old school landlines. It was totally different. There was no Airbnb. So technology just is eclipsing and some people are stuck in the past. Let's see what Mark has to say. Absolutely. With the software we have, a great position to offer exceptional service and we continue to evolve with the software. You can see Mark as the customer experience officer manager there and giving a very great diplomatic answer. We're in a great position to offer exceptional service. You're right, Mark. Thank you for that comment. And that was exactly the comment I would expect. Now, Mark helps deal with the guests and the reviews and the guest resolutions and disputes. So you can see the approach that Mark takes there to be diplomatic and nice and offering amazing customer service. So thank you. Next one. Are you happy with your booking levels and incomes from the last 12 months? So do you need an agent? If you're 100% happy with your income and everything's went great, then fine. You might consider not needing an agent. One of the things we said we do, three value propositions: maximize income, reduce stress-free uptime. You may not have any stress. You may love it. You may pivot systemize and you may have loads and loads of bookings. So some people just have amazing properties in amazing areas. It's got amazing track record, repeat bookings. They do not need someone like us to give them more bookings. So are you happy with your bookings historically? If you look back and are honest with yourself, did I get the most bookings I could? Was there scope for improvement? And if the answer is no and you're happy with what you had, you don't need to be employing an agent for the bookings. You may want to free up your time and free up the stress and take that side away. But when you're looking at why you want to select an agent and whether you need to, that's a big factor. Next thing, and you're happy and confident with your current and future bookings. How's your calendar looking just now, guys? After the staycation boom, after the lockdown and the prices were up, MD could make money in serviced accommodation. So many people entered the market, so many people had good times. After lockdowns, everybody had money. Nobody could or wanted to go abroad. Spunk loads of money. Property prices went up 50 to 100%. There was premiums on them. And that meant everybody made money by the nature of the market. That isn't the way the market is just now. I was looking and I said yesterday on a call, It was cheaper for Emma and I to go all-inclusive to a 5-star resort in Cape Verde, which is beautiful weather, 5-star resort, all-inclusive for 2 weeks, probably the best food and stuff that you'd ever see, than it was to go to Cornwall for a week and get a property with a hot tub. There's a bit of an imbalance here. So the spike that did happen, the market needs to equalise. There's oversupply in a lot of areas. There's lots of operators coming in with inferior products and cheap properties that are buy-to-lets, should not be holiday homes, undercutting. So in some areas, future bookings and current bookings aren't as strong as what they used to be. So if your bookings are fine and your calendar's fine and the occupancy levels you need, you might not need an agent. So would you like more direct bookings? Calendars could be filled. Occupancy could be high, guys, but I know many people, because we've got lots of properties, hundreds and hundreds. I see direct comparisons of very similar properties. One person's got like 50% occupancy rate. The other person's nearly fully booked at 90% occupancy, like 27 days a month. One's losing money and one's making a good profit. You'd instinctually think the one at 27 days a month, 95% occupancy was the one making money, but they were losing money because they were doing shorter stays. Their daily rate was too cheap. They had lots of changeovers and high cleaning costs. So sometimes direct and the high OTA fees, Booking.com and Airbnb and other platforms taking between 15 and 24% in some instances. So that's your profit. As some direct bookings, the difference between profit and loss. How are your future bookings and how are you going to get them? Is anything going to change in the future? So do you need an agent now? Maybe not. Maybe everything I've mentioned is in the positive, and hopefully for you it is. But this thing's going to change. Are you going to change jobs? Are you going to change location? Could you be having a family? My life's definitely changed. We mentioned being over in Cape Verde. Lucky enough to get engaged over in Cape Verde, and it struck me when I was on the beach proposing in the sun on Christmas Eve. Things I would never have done for the whole of my life, I will do this year, because now it's not Scott Weir running Pillow. I have a future wife, and actually I realised for 19 years I'd had this business. And I always thought I'd just work hard all the time and work 12 hours in the office. And now that I've proposed under the stars in Cape Verde, my life needs to change. I don't want to be doing the same thing for the next 20 years. I want to change the life. I'm still going to work very hard, but could I do that from Cape Verde? Could I, do I need to be in the office all day, every day? Could I change my life? And would I be better as a business person? So if you'd spoke to me this time last year, things you would have been able to sell me and things I would have done and services and things I needed, my life has changed because of getting engaged and therefore married. How is your life going to change? Do you want kids? Do you want to start a hobby? Are you going to want more holidays? Do you don't want the stress and hassle of that phone call? You've got a new relationship that doesn't like you running away on Friday nights and Saturdays to do check-ins. And have a think. It may be now you don't need it, but would you like that to be the case forever? And can you predict things? Right, guys, I mentioned this. I'm going to put me off. The Ikigai, the purpose, the reason for being. So if you feel that this fits in with your life plan, is it something that you love doing? Is it something that you're good at? Can you make more money than using an agent? And is it the best level of service you can deliver to the world? Does the world need you doing it, or would your guests be better serviced by someone else? I love this principle of Ikigai, guys. I'm not going to go into it too much, but if you feel that this is part of your life, then don't let the fact that Pillow or an agent can make you more money, take that away. If you get fulfillment and joy and get some serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin and all these feel-good chemicals because of the service you deliver and the value you're giving to guests, you may not need an agent. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, next section. Questions to ask any potential agents. Let me get my tea, it's now cold. Guys, there's some questions coming in. I'm going to save them to the end. I'm going to rattle through these questions very, very quickly to get to the Q&A and the prizes and the free stuff. Questions to ask a potential agent. How long have you been a managing agent? Not how long they've been in the industry. Guys, this is super, super important. Many people say, no, I've had a decade's experience in the industry. That's in their own properties. Being a managing agent on behalf of other people is exponentially more difficult, complicated, and harder to get right than looking after your own units. Doesn't matter how long they've been looking after their one Airbnb unit, how long have they had experience being a managing agent for clients like you. Be very, very clear with your words and your terminology. Lots of bamboozling going on. If people say, I've been in the industry for 15 years, you've been a landlord for 15 years. You've not been a managing agent of short-term rental properties. If you look at the profile on Airbnb, how long have they had an Airbnb profile? Some are saying 6 months, but yet they've got a decade experience. So you want to be very, very, don't mean critical here, but don't let marketing fool you. Some people are very good marketeers, but not good property managers. And I say all these things, guys, not to diss anybody else. This is just questions for you to ask. The questions I would ask any agent, because if I didn't have had a property in Spain or Portugal or Greece, I would be using a managing agent. I certainly wouldn't do it. And I want a local agent. I want someone on the ground, local there. I don't want people in the Philippines paying 10. I wouldn't be paying anybody 10% management fees to manage my property. I would take their percentage and give them 20% more. They charge 10%. I would demand they took 15 or 20. I'd want to be the principal customer. I have been in the industry for so long, I would not manage my own properties overseas. So how long have they been a managing agent for other people? That makes sense. The difference between being in the industry and being a managing agent. How many units do you manage for other people? Super, super important. Sometimes you'll come across an agent claiming to have big numbers of properties. How many properties do you manage? And they will say 50, but 40 of them are theirs. 40 they own or they operate or they lease. I think it's a conflict of interest, guys, personally. Some people as a badge of honor. I've got 25 of my own units. Some people build up their own portfolios and then set up management businesses because they've got great experience with themselves. But if they're getting direct bookings and going to network and getting guests, they then have a choice. If they get a direct booking for £50,000 for 2 years, if they've got their own units, they've got a choice. They're going to give you the booking and get 10% of it, and their property may be empty, or are they going to not put a booking on yours, put it in theirs, and get 100% of the money? I'm going to be clear on what I'm saying. If they've got their own units, and that's a badge of honor, I've got lots of my own units. I know what I'm doing. I'm very experienced. There is a decision to be made every time there's a direct booking or someone phoning up that isn't through an OTA. Do they put them in theirs and get 100%, or do they put them in yours and get a pitiful 10%? So how many units do they have and control themselves? And is it a conflict of interest? If they've got 100 units and they've got one themselves, that's absolutely fine. If they manage 10 units in one of theirs and it's in another area out with them, they happen to have a holiday home, it's absolutely fine. A lot of agents out there these days, they manage 10 properties and 8 of theirs, and they're doing it, and they get guests to fill their own properties. That makes sense. Not accusing anybody of that. I'm just saying the question you need to ask: how many units do you have personally, and how does that compare to the amount of units that you have? Right. How many people are in your UK team? So this is very, very important to me. It may not be to you. How many people are in your UK team? Not overseas VAs. We experimented with a couple of them. Shout out to the 3 Filipino VAs we had, because they were superstars. They were great. I'm not criticising them, but for our business model, we had to change it. It's great to have a really lean business, guys, and be able to manage hundreds of properties and charge 10% because it's a team of VAs over the UK. Some of the larger companies, the big venture capital-backed companies, they don't have any team in the UK. They all work from home, and it's places in Romania and the Philippines. And you can't, by the way, if you ever phone banks and call centres up, it's like all industries, guys. You're going to speak to someone overseas because it's 10% the cost and there's no labour. There's no laws. They can do whatever they want and sack people. So it's a great business model for the agent to make money. It's a really horrible business model for the industry we're in, which is hospitality and customer service. So how many people do they have in the UK? They could say, I've got a team of 10. We can service you very well. But it's that owner, founder, and 9 Filipino VAs that have never been to your property. English isn't English is a second language. They don't know anything about the culture and the roads and the transport links and local restaurants to recommend. They've never ever been to the property. So for me, we're trying to do something different, build a network of people there that are local, that have been to the property. So how many are in the UK team? Don't ask how many are in the team. It's a totally different question, because they could say I've got 50, but they've got 25 part-time VAs, so that's half the amount, because they're part-time, they're VAs. People could be working for an hour a week, and some people are classifying them as employees and part of the team. So we need to find out what resources does a company have to manage your property. Not a bad thing if it's a Filipino VA and they're charging 5% or 10%. That's their business model. That's absolutely fine. I'm not criticising it, but you want to ask and understand that, because if you're picking between two agents that might have a different price, how many people do you have in your team? Well, we've got 15 people in the UK. Or we've got one person in the UK and 15 overseas. Well, that's a different proposition. One should be charging 10%. The other with the UK team should be charging more. Hopefully that makes sense. Who will be actually managing my property and answering my guest calls? I'm not saying that it needs to be someone in the UK. I'm not saying it definitely needs to be someone local to your property and they need to have been there. But there are companies there much larger than Pillow and thousands of properties. And there's nobody's been to the property in the UK. Nobody has, the people answering the guest calls, the people answering the host calls, don't know the hosts, don't know the guests, don't know the UK, don't speak English as a first language. So who will be dealing with your guests? Hi, I'm just phoning up. How far are you to the train station? Can you recommend a local restaurant? The people don't even speak English as the first thing. And we had some Filipino VAs who were amazing. Hi, Anne, hi, Jefferson, hi, the rest. They were all great. But you need to compare the right thing. Apples with apples. Who will be answering your calls? If it's not important, if it's someone overseas and you're saving a couple of % in your management fee, and that's important to you, then that's fine. But you need to ask the right question. Don't be bamboozled by marketing. Who will be answering your calls? Who will be dealing with guests? What happens when a guest phones up evenings and weekends? Because guys, you are going to need people answer. They are going to need call centers effectively, or people answering phones. Filipinos are great because it's an 8-hour time difference, so they answer phones in the middle of the night. Absolutely fantastic. But who's answering the guest calls? Who's answering your queries? Do you get a dedicated person? How long is my initial contract? Nice and simple. Find out, have a look at the contract, dig into it. Ours, we've just totally changed ours. People can leave very quickly if they're unhappy. And I think it's 3 months. I'll double check with the team with getting the new ones out, but there is no long 12-month contract anymore. We've taken feedback from the industry in general. But you need to understand, what are your exit terms? What if you want to sell the property, move back in, cancel it? What if it doesn't work with that agent? How do you exit that relationship? Not to be negative with MD, even Pillow, but you want to understand any contract or business partnership you guys enter with. You need to, what happens if it doesn't work? How do we exit this in the best terms? You always want to have a good read of your management agreement. What property management system and dynamic pricing software do you use? Are they a bit of paper and a pen? I saw a post, I'll bring it up in the screenshot in one of the forums. Hi, I'm a managing agent. I want the cheapest, most basic property management system possible. And I commented and said, well, why do you want the cheapest? No, I want the cheapest property management software I could possibly get with limited features. And I said, why do you want limited features? And it's the cheapest. So property management system, very complicated with dynamic pricing software. They link to Airbnb.com, Expedia, all these places. You do need a good quality one, guys. We couldn't always afford it. It wasn't until we got to a good size and get some buying power that we could get some of the world's best software here. So ask them, what software do you use? Do you have dynamic pricing software? Easy to be charging discount fees at 10% because you don't have any overheads or costs. You don't have the technology in place to support your hosts. Next. Is property management your main or only business? So again, I'm coming from my point of view. I would not want to be given my business to someone that just did it as a sideline because they've got a holiday home cleaning company, for example, and that's the way they get customers. They get customers. It's to support and get cleaning business. They've got a training and mentoring business, for example. and say, well, I just might as well manage the properties. A nice big thing, property sourcers doing end-to-end. They can sell you an agreement, they can sell you something, then they manage it at the end. If 90% of their income is coming from a business activity and 10% is from property management, and it's a secondary concern, and the founder's more focused on building something like a training company, or I'm giving random examples here, then to me personally, I would want my property management company to be their sole focus. I don't want it to be a sideline. I don't want them selling milkshakes or utilities as their main business, and they just happen to maybe perhaps answer the phone sometimes or do a little bit of property management on the side. I want professionals. I want professionals in all aspects I work with. I wouldn't want it as a sideline or a hustle or something they've just set up last year to give a go and then they'll move on to being something next year. I want consistency, long-term experience in the industry, and I want it to be their main focus, guys. That's just me. That might not be you. Do you have a separate dedicated client account? So client money moving forward is going to be more important. Lots of agents, it's crazy, don't have money in a regulated ring-fenced client account. That means HMRC can go in and take it. That means that people can spend it on business expenses. It means if the business goes insolvent, the debtors will get that money. It needs to be a client account. It's totally different. You're holding client money here, so ask to see the certificate. Don't take their word for it, because many will say, yes, I put it into a separate bank account. I don't mean a separate bank account. I mean authorised from the bank, a client money account with a certificate. I don't have mine here. I'd show you, because we've got two for two different things, short term and long term. So we've got two client accounts, and I'm happy to show you the certificate. I'm getting technical there, but it's massively important because your money needs to be ring-fenced in that account. Do you have stuff in place to generate direct bookings? Nice and easy. Top stuff on Airbnb and book.com and wait for those bookings coming in. Hey, that's nice and simple, but what are we doing? What do we do? Well, we do social media. We've got a staycations book page. We do weekly newsletters. We've got a team across the UK going to local networking. If you see any of my guys on our forums, you'll see them. Liz is always out networking. Emma goes every Wednesday to the networking. Team are always out doing public speaking to raise awareness. They're walking around industrial estates to get direct bookings. Filipinos from the VAs ain't traveling over and going to networking on a Wednesday morning. They ain't chapping doors. They're just maybe sending emails, but they're not physically hitting the bricks. They're not known in the area, not building a presence online for people to proactively come and say, you're the person that does serviced accommodation, aren't you? Yes, cool. I'd love you to put my guys up for 6 weeks. So you need direct booking things in place. You can't rely on the OTAs. And if your agent, you can't just rely on those bookings, those reactive bookings coming in. Right. Can I visit your office or meet some of the team? We had a massive office last year. We had a training centre with all these big resources, and that was important to me last year. As we said, we've restructured the business, and we want to take our training centre on the road to see people and go to a different host location every month. So that's more important. You don't necessarily need an office, but where is your business being run from? Can you meet some of the team? Are the team in the UK? Can you physically go and see them, or is it all online? Is it run from somebody's dining room table? I always jokingly say, you live with your mum, you don't have a car, but you've got a service accommodation management business. That's the reality of it. But marketing would not let you believe that. People out there, they live with their mum. They're doing it for their bedroom, sitting in their bedroom. And in the videos, that's fine if you want to give them your business, but you don't want to be bamboozled by marketing and fancy stuff. So ask, can I visit your office? Where's your HQ? Can we come and meet the team to see who the support guys are? Who's the accounting people? Who's the people doing the social media? Who's all the team, the customer service team? Go and meet the team if that's important to you and they're local. Pop in and see them, see what the culture's like. You'll notice that I didn't say anything about price, guys. I didn't say anything about asking them their fees. Fees are the least important thing. I don't want you to see fees as the lower the better. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. And I will be honest and open and upfront. I will probably say the feedback we've had, and we see people and they'll say, Hello's one of the most expensive. I would expect us to be the most expensive. If you said to, well, we've got Pillow out in there 20%, everybody would instantly lower their fees, I would say. So it happens all the time. So we don't make any, we're not here to deceive people. We will be the most expensive agent you'll probably speak to. Everyone will be cheaper. I could probably guarantee it. So price is what you pay, value is what you get. That's why I've left that to last. Not here to I didn't put it first because I think it's the least important. I think you add up all the factors we've just spoken about and pick the one that you feel most aligned with. Who do you trust the most? Who do you personally rapport with? Who's your property manager? Whose mobile phone and email address do you get? Who's dealing with your guests? Who's trying to get you direct bookings? Add everything up and compare two things. Maybe one's 10%, maybe one's half the price of Pillow, maybe one's double the price, maybe one's cheaper and better. But you need to compare, and price is the last thing to ask. Compare everything else. That makes sense, guys? Right, cool. Right, that's us. We're moving on to the questions. Some next steps here, guys. We always get asked, what's the next thing? And I always forget. We've got 3 host liaison managers. We have Edith for Scotland. We have Liz in the north. And we have Richard in the south. These guys will tell you geographically. So book in a call with the host liaison manager. These guys are trained to take your call, take some facts, and then we introduce you to the local property manager, the person that will be managing your property. So just that's nice and simple. Book in HQ. One of the regional property managers, the host liaison managers, will take your call, get your details, and then pass you to the local person. We want you to deal with someone local. You'll get their phone number and email address, and that's the next stage. Agree the terms, as we said in the previous thing. Look at the contract, see the terms, make sure you're happy with them, and we will launch your property. That's nice and simple. So, some live Q&A, guys. Right, that's us come to the end of the kind of training side. If you're in a rush, if you want to bounce, and if you don't need anything else answered, then please go. But if you've got some questions, pop them in and I will answer them. So let's go back and see some of the questions that have been answered. The team will be there and I'll try and get the ones that I haven't missed. Let's go back to the start. Can you take over management from another agency? Yes, nice and simple. Again, hundreds, thousands we've done over the years. People have taken ones off us as well, so we've seen it from the other side, and that means we are very respectful and we'll manage the process for you. We don't want people very scared to move agents because they don't like aggravation, don't like conflict. But it's not like that. We make it very easy for the other agent. There's a nice process. We're very friendly about it, but you can switch agents. There's some technical things with Airbnb versus Booking.com I'll not get into, but yes, we can. We do it all the time, and the team will do it in a very ethical, friendly, nice way, not confrontational, and we will help you, so that you don't need to get involved. We understand. Obviously, our guys are professional property managers. Switching agents, what they do. Hi guys, they'll sometimes lose properties to other agents occasionally. It does happen over the years. So we've seen it from both sides. Very respectful to that agent. We work with them to try and make a solution for them that's the best. Let them step away with no work, and we do it, and we become friends with that agent as well, so that there's no hardship of not releasing information. So we work with that agent, and all 3 of us win. You get to pick the agent you want. We get a new onboarded property with a nice new host, and that agent has a little work and is left without needing to deal with the problems, whatever they had, and hopefully we can all get a fresh start. So yes, we can take over the management from another agency. You need to check your contracts. We're not going to take properties and steal properties from other agents. If you've signed a contract and they've stuck to their end, we would just work with you and do it at the end of the contract. Lovely. Next question, 200% council tax. Yes. For second homes, my local authority will be charging double council tax for second homes. Can I avoid this? It's happening and it will happen, guys. You can avoid it by changing to business rates if it's less than 15,000 cumulative. I'm not going to get into technicalities of that, but if it's business rates, you may qualify for small business rates exemption. So yes, you can and you should. Legislation changes coming into England anyway, so that will all be highlighted and it'll be sorted when the new legislation comes in. But yes, Joanne Simcoe, one of our competitors, always says 200% in Liverpool. So Joanne keeps us updated there. Many areas charging 200%, i.e. if you've got a holiday home, they will charge you double. Guys, I want to put this, yes, it chips away and it could be 2.5 grand off your money at the end of the year, but that is going to stop people entering the market. That's going to make it less profitable for lots of your competitors. If you're operating a great business and you've got things sorted and you're doing it for a long term, that will be kind of negligible. Yes, they will charge you that money if you've not changed it to business rates. However, if your property is run well, it's efficient, over time, people will exit the market, and that will, supply and demand will rebalance. That makes sense? So less supply in a market means the demand's the same. You will get more occupancy and higher nightly rates. So hopefully that will work out. So that's a positive for that. But yes, that is going to be happening all over. Let's see. Next question. You charge double what some other companies charge. Why is that? Right, okay. We don't charge double. That for us to charge double what other companies charge, they would have needed to be here first. We would have been here first unless they set up prior to 2006. We set the fees and they looked at us. So other companies decided to charge half what we charge. They looked at our value proposition and what Pillow charges. They decided they were worth half that value. So that's the way I would say that. Yes, we will and technically charge twice as much, but we're not charging double what anybody charges because one, we were here first, two, we are setting the standard. They're looking at our value proposition, stripping everything out, Filipino VAs, and then etc. No technology, just someone with a mobile phone. If I sat at home with no team, no technology, mobile phones, actually when I first started, I could have charged 10%. Not possible for us to charge 20%. In fact, we shouldn't be worried about that. So we were here first. People have looked at our proposition and they're charging half is the way I would answer that question. Nice. Callum asked, by the way, Callum's our property manager in Norfolk. If you are looking for property management down in Norfolk, hopefully I've got all these areas right. More than your renters' rates will make a difference to the SA market. Went through the second reading a few days ago, guys. So yes, it will. Rents have went up massively. Serviced accommodation yields have went down slightly. So that was coming closer. The margin wasn't as a little bit tighter than it was many years ago. So I think the new renters' right bill will be a good push. It's going to be less efficient to be a landlord. We went through it all in Scotland. So we went through the tenancy regime change, lots of changes, too much to talk about there. But it will make a difference to the SA market. Yes, people won't necessarily want to be landlords anymore. They're either going to sell or maybe put that to SA. So some more competition might come in your area. But overall, it's going to lower the amount of private rented stock dramatically. So supply and demand will change there. So yes, Norfolk, right. Thank you, Cam. Just in case, because there's Lanarkshire and Lancashire, I always get things mixed up. There's Sussex and Suffolk and Surrey. So excuse my ignorance and dyslexia. So thanks for that. Next one, can I use a property myself if I wanted to? I ask this loads all the time. Bigger, more like green, old school companies like Sykes and cottages.com charge you extra percentages. They charge you like 300 quid to use your own property, I'm told. So you can use your own property whenever you want with Pillow. Don't pay any more commission. You don't get penalised. Actually, the property managers like it because when hosts go and visit properties, they won't just go and stay there. They're going to go, it shows they care. So they're going to take the advice of our property managers to change stuff, to upgrade stuff. And property managers arrange it with you. They book the calendar out, or you can get access to the systems guys and go in and actually book it out yourself, see when you're free. Bear in mind, the more you use it, the less income you'll make, but that's fine. Our team happy for you to do that. It's your property. And hopefully when you go, you'll go and do something nice. You'll take some new furnishings, do some stuff, and you'll make it better than when you leave. So we encourage you to do that. And it's your property. And you get full access to the calendar, full transparency. What we like to do is say, well, I know you want to use it at peak time, but actually, if it comes to, we're recording this going live on a Friday, but of a Wednesday, maybe a Thursday if it hasn't booked, we don't do same day check-ins for holiday homes. So if it hasn't booked on a Thursday night or a Friday morning, you can go and use it. So you're not booking it out and prohibiting potential income, guys. The property managers will discuss this with you, your strategy. But if it's Friday afternoon, you want to go and do your holiday home and it hasn't booked, you might as well, because we don't do same day check-ins for holiday homes. So guys, that means that and you can use it without losing income. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, there's a nice one from Liz. Again, that's why I said I'm just a beautiful, charismatic face of pillow. My team are the smart ones. They also need to ask other agents about platform commissions. So they could end up paying double their management fee. So how does your property management system and how does their systems and charging fees, how do they correlate? Are you paying gross? Are you paying management fees on gross or net? So the algorithms there work. And Liz is right. We've got nice software that can do an uplift if there's fees on a platform, we can change it. If you buy it on the website, it's £100. If you buy it on Airbnb, the channel management and the fancy software means that you're uplifting that to a certain degree. Not to get technical because it would take me too long, but Liz asks another great question, makes another great comment there. So, next question, can you guarantee a minimum rental income? So, if you're a landlord, if you're a host of a property, you can do two things. You can give it to someone that will call rent to rent. They'll do a long-term lease, 3 to 5 years, and give you guaranteed rental income. They will operate it as a serviced accommodation property and give you guaranteed rent. It's like giving it to a tenant, but rather than the tenant living there, it's a host, and they'll put it in Airbnb and operate it, and they'll keep the margin. But you get guaranteed rent. For us, we don't guarantee a minimum amount. Some people say, well, why? If you were a great agent, Scott, you could guarantee to make us a minimum amount. I can guarantee what myself and my team will do. I can't guarantee that you're going to be a good host and you're going to keep the property maintained. I can't guarantee that the weather won't change. We had a crazy storm here. Holiday homes roofs get ripped off in some areas, places without electricity. Guests couldn't travel to be here, and lockdown happened. So an agent, any staying agent would never give you guaranteed rent as a managing agent because we can only control what we can control. We can't control coronavirus, lockdown, storms, your boiler breaks, your cleaners don't turn up. So we can't control all those variables. What if you don't pay your Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi gets cut off? Why should I be given guaranteed rent because you've failed as a host? So we don't give guarantees. What we can do is a proper pricing analysis. The team can jump onto really sophisticated software and tell you exactly what properties have made historically over the last 12 months. Occupancy levels, average night rates, average term of stay. We can give you these actual statistics, no bullshit, no projections into the future and making £100 million, actual statistics of what has happened in comparables with property in your area. So we can go better than that. Next one, will the new legislation coming in put an end to serviced accommodation? So this is happening. It's already happened in Scotland. You can see patterns here, guys, of stuff happening in Scotland. It's already in Scotland. So it didn't put an end to it. What it does is means you're going to need to get a license. You're going to need to get permission from the local authority. You're going to need to let your neighbours know it's a serviced accommodation unit, perhaps, and get any objections. You're going to need to fight to get that license to operate. And if you don't, you can't do it. And you're going to need to probably do that every 3 years. Will it put an end to serviced accommodation? It will for 50% of operators who are amateurs and not doing it correctly. Will it put an end to serviced accommodation for professionals? Absolutely not. I always like to say these little ripples and things, we've done it for 20 years. We'll be here in 20 years' time. I was here. Holiday homes have been here. Some of our customers have been doing this for 20 years. Before Airbnb was a thing, they'll be here well after Airbnb. They'll be here well after the Labour government all got locked and put in jail for corruption and everything else they're doing. So they will be here long after the daft legislations and stuff that come in. So it'll get changed, and it'll go up, and it'll go down, it'll get worse, and then it'll get better. All these things will affect industry, and every time something comes in, it will push more people out. Demand's roughly going to stay the same. Supply will drop. That means you'll make more money. So if we look at it from a positive point of view, it will push people out, but those guys will be the amateur operators, the people that are bad at it, the properties that shouldn't be short-term rental units. That makes sense, guys, because there's positives, but negatives for a lot of people. Do you pay for maintenance and cleaning is the next question. We pay for it on behalf of you, but that isn't included in management fees. If we've got full management, we take your property, create a hands-off business, then we don't pay a mortgage, obviously, so why would we? We're not going to pay the Wi-Fi, and we're not going to pay for maintenance if your roof breaks. So there's a misconception that a 20% management fee, we're just going to pay for everything for you. That's not the case. No sane agent would do that. They last a month, even if they promise to do your maintenance. Now, some rates include cleaning. So if you're working with an agent that has a cleaning company, they may charge you a higher percentage, or they may just keep the percentage the same but do the cleaning because their cleaners are in-house. So it may be included in your management fees for cleaning, but as a whole, we want to have independent cleaners that are given best value. We're not going to pay for maintenance, because maintenance in a property, what if there's a storm like there was 2 weeks ago and your roof comes off? So no agent should agree to that. And if an agent's daft enough to do it, they're stupid enough to be mismanaging other aspects of your property. And if you pressure somebody into agreeing to do the maintenance, now if you're doing a rent-to-rent agreement with someone, they may put into the contract that they'll do a certain level of maintenance and keep the property maintained where you're getting guaranteed rent. But as an agent that takes a percentage of your income for delivering value, no sane agent would ever include all the maintenance. They may have a maintenance team that can do some stuff as added value. Our team are always going out, and if our team can do things like tighten a door handle, we will, but that's added value. Don't expect your agent to just start replacing your boiler because you've given them £100 a month fees. Not going to happen. Next one here, guys. We're coming to the end. So fantastic, some nice questions. So let's wrap it up in the next 5 minutes. If you've got any questions, please put them in. Lovely. Do I get to choose the charity I use my property for? As you've mentioned, every single property gets linked to different charities. So we want to deliver social impact with every state. You as a host are involved in that. So as a host, you get to donate time in your property, and your property manager will link that up. So yes, you do. We're not going to be giving it to anything politically motivated or religiously motivated. We're not going to be doing anything crazy with your property. We're all going to keep it very neutral. We want to help people in the local community. So yes, you get to choose, but we're not going to be choosing big corrupt charities linked to anything. Definitely overseas stuff, guys. The admin costs, it's all a scam. Most big charities you hear of and have donated money to in the past, it's a scam. It's money. There's directors floating about in 160 grand with 2 cars. A director of a charity does not need 2 cars. So all these things happen all the time with big charities, and 9% of it ever hits these areas where you think it is. So with ours, 100%, there's no cost for us. 100% of the money donated and the time donated from our hosts goes to our charities. So all we say is we want to pick those small community charities in the areas that deliver the maximum amount of value, but you get to do that, whatever is important to you. I always use a nice story of someone I was talking to that wanted to do it. It was a small local charity that did wigs for young girls with leukemia. And it was very expensive to get a proper natural looking wig to give those young girls some dignity when they went through their chemo and lost their hair. So that's a great charity. I wouldn't be letting people use a property to give them money to overseas dodgy charities, but local charities that can deliver amazing things and save lives. That's what we want to do. So I'm getting very passionate there, but not to right. So one last question. Thank you, Holden. I've one last question. Why are you worth the management fee? Thank you for picking a really tough question there, Holden. That is the last one. So we saved that one to last, and I will finish on this one. Why are you worth the 20% management fees? Guys, we've been in this industry a long time. I think that is a fair exchange of value. Some people perceive that as expensive. I don't believe that is. I think that is a massively fair exchange of value. It allows us to get the resources and to get the team to deliver more value than you, to get things in place to answer phones all the time, to get technology to be stable. And we're now February, lots of SA management companies going bust. There's wee small ones we've taken over that you won't know that don't have the money to operate. So I think somebody that's been in the industry that delivers what we do. If you go back to the questions to ask an agent and measure us, I don't have it here, but there is a checklist and a comparison sheet. I think if you measured us against anybody, I would like to think that the value comes out. So I think it's a fair exchange of value. Definitely gives us the margin, not a lot of margin. Turns out there's more profitable companies to be in. If I have a cleaning company or a training company, I'd make more money, guys. If I had a cleaning company, I'd make more money from your property on the cleaning than I would in the management fees. It's why people cross what they do. I'd make more money selling you mentorships than I would in property management, but there needs to be a margin in it to allow us to operate, to allow things to work correctly. So I think that's a fair exchange of value. I personally wouldn't be, if I had an agent in another country that charged less than 20%, I would voluntarily pay more. I wouldn't be going for the cheapest. So that's me personally. I don't want anything. I don't want a roofer that's cheap or an electrician that's cheap. I don't want to knock anybody down in their fees. I have a thing. I go, what does somebody pay you? 100 quid an hour. Cool, I'm going to pay 125 quid an hour. I want to be your best client. I want you to deliver more for me than any of your other clients. Why? Because I'm one of hundreds, one of thousands. So paying the least amount of money to me is absolutely false economy. I would never do it. I want people to get a fair exchange of value. Now, there's many things that I don't see as a fair exchange of value. Mugs buying watches and fancy Lambos and cars, no my thing. That's not a fair exchange of value. They're ripping you off. In my eyes, that's not a fair exchange of value. But 20% for management fees that can allow you to have a hands-off business, I think's great value for money, and especially with the team behind the scenes, how passionate they are. We did calls today with Callum, Becky and Matt and Angela doing training all the time. So I see the blood, sweat and tears. People like Liz and Callum that are on the call today and Emma put in for your properties. So I actually, if I'm going to be honest, I think it should be 25%, but nobody will let me put the fees up. So yes, I do believe we are worth it. Right, thank you guys. That is us finished. Next steps we've covered. I just wanted to say some freebies. Right, guys, if you've watched, that's an hour and 10 minutes. Thank you very, very much for everyone that has stayed on. If you are here, I want to give some freebies out, guys. So let's have a little look. We mentioned this book. We're going to have 3 copies of this. I'm going to get this posted out to you. Ikigai, the Japanese purpose of your life, your life's purpose. The Japanese secret to a long and happy life. 3 comments for this. Guys, let me just do a little banner. I want you to email hosts at Pillow Partners. Let's see. If you email hosts at Pillow Partners, the first 3 people to do that, I will give the book. So hosts at Pillow Partners, put the subject title free book. That means if you're watching live and you've watched to the end, you should be one of those 3. We'll give you some special freebies as well. We will give 5 free reports and feasibility studies, so price and comparison ones, and 3 listing appraisals as well. You can send us your Airbnb. So put book, put appraisal, or put listing analysis, whatever you want. Free book, free appraisal, free listing analysis, and we'll give you a free book. We will give you a pricing thing to make sure your property is well priced, and the team will give you the historical statistics based on the stuff we do, or we will give you a free appraisal list. I'll give you a list and send it, and we'll give you the team's advice. It's always add value in these things, guys. Genuinely look at it from a different point of view, and it's not criticizing your listing or your business, but sometimes even changing the first picture can make a massive difference. Changing the flow of the pictures, changing some of the pricing, changing some of the words. So the team will do that as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for their questions. And I will see you. We'll be back for these every 2 weeks, guys. So every second Friday, I'm going to bring you these. If you've watched this on replay and did not get your questions answered, please just let me know, and we'll make sure we put them in the next one. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great Friday and have a great weekend.